It's not important that you write every word that's discussed today. The main goal is to see these are the criteria for your video. Do you communicate the key events of your episode? Do you have the correct terms and dialogue? Do you clearly depict or show who the characters are supposed to be? Do you make the scene somewhat humorous? Is dialogue clear and understood? Those are your criteria to get a good grade on your progress monitor sheet. Is your final product does this. We're going to watch some videos from the past couple of years, and you're going to evaluate how do you think they did. And these two ladies are going to be directing us today, all right? And their job is to get you to share your ideas. Please raise your hand if you have an idea. If you have a question, that's when I come in. This is really about you guys deciding how good do you want to do on this project. Pedro's in charge of lights. When I bring it up and they decide which one we're going to watch, then he's going to turn the lights off so you can see it better. And videos, we are 3 Skeleton Key, right?
Yeah.
I have videos from 2 years ago and from this past year.
Sorry, you don't have 3 years ago?
I didn't do this when I was the 8th grade
Did you
teacher.
ever have Ethan? Did you even have Ethan?
I didn't even have Ethan, right? Okay,
Did you have James?
never here. All right,
James and James Green.
here is the options. Here's the options. Thank you. Which ones do you guys want to watch?
Are these examples?
It's not episode 4, it's 3. It's just that I had so many videos. I had to name them certain things.
Let's do the climax.
Start at the end. Okay, Pedro?
This is the climax for 3 Skeleton Key. We've been waiting for hours and hours, and finally they brought another boat.
I'm a boat.
And it was pulling another boat.
I'm a boat too, and I have meat.
And that meat attracted all the other rats.
I'm a rat. I like meat. I forgot you guys love me too. A rat loves me too. I'm a rat.
And then we decided to bomb them with mortar shells. And then the sharks attacked them.
Okay, Pedro? Now, this is a rare one. Just so you know, I had to narrate because the group fell apart and they didn't do their jobs and they decided not to work. And so they didn't do very well on the participation part. All right? Just so you know that it's not common for me to be the narrator. But that's the one you picked, so I had to explain why. All right, here we go. If you need to stand, that's fine. Hey, you guys are in charge now, making sure we cover these criteria.
Okay. Do we have the correct terms and dialogue?
Oh, don't forget the first part.
What? Okay, I have to read first? Okay. When looking at the student sample, assess how. Wait. Am I on that side?
It's the right side, it's just you missed one of the questions. That's all.
First question.
Oh, okay.
You're fine.
Okay. Who's you take first question? I'm confused.
Just read the first question. Okay. Just read.
When looking at the student sample, assess how they did or did not meet the criteria. Why or why not? Okay. Who's here read the first question?
There.
Yeah.
It says, does it communicate the key events of this episode?
Okay.
Okay.
It's confusing.
It's all right.
If you're not gonna raise your hands, I'm gonna call on you. Justin, you're going first. Does it communicate key events in this episode?
Yeah,
How?
because it was a climax. And they blew up the racks.
And
And that's it.
Brianna, you wanna help him out?
Sure.
on, you had somebody with their hand up back
Oh,
there.
oh, sorry.
Tyler!
Supposed to be realized.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do we write this down, teacher?
Write a little bit. You don't write what Justin said, but
Do we
you
write
know.
the kaboom?
Yeah, just kind of write a little summary of it.
Write down keynotes that you think are important, right?
Yes, and it needs to climax.
Explain to me what she said again.
Basically, they did take 2 boats and
Okay, there's
they
2
exploded
boats.
rats.
Brianna, don't talk over people.
Took the boats, took the meat on it, exploded them. Yeah, they would die.
Does it have the correct terms and dialogue? Okay.
Well, I didn't get one of the sheets.
So when you walk in.
Oh, I didn't see those.
I tried.
I picked Ruby as a good answer.
Kelsey, help us build hers.
Don't animation teacher now.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can help with it.
Wait, I don't even really remember there being dialogue except for the narrator talking. The narrator talked, that was the dialogue, yeah.
So really, they did have dialogue, and they
But
were.
it doesn't have the
It's got dialogue, and it's got what the narrator said in it. Well, I hope so. But I guess they did add the extra in because, like you said, they fell apart. So I'm a rat and a boat and a person. So that was the extras, but they really did have the key concept. They did kind of fall apart, but they did have the narrator talking his dialogue. So
So, yes.
yes and no.
Maybe.
Better,
For the most
better.
part.
I'm just kidding. I'm a rat.
Great.
First I want to start saying, how old are you two?
Tyler, don't hurt us, just help us.
Okay. First thing, yeah, they like Mr. Peterman said that, which apparently isn't here. He said that they fell apart, so they didn't exactly have dialogue, and that's the reason why Mr. Peterman had to be the narrator.
That's a good point. Good observation.
Kelsey.
So I'm confused. Do we write yes or no? Because
Yes, you write down yes or no.
You're gonna write down either yes or no.
I know, but like I mean, it's like half and half. Cause
Like, and put yes for the most part.
Oh,
The least
yeah.
part.
Ask questions about that too.
Just put what you think is right, yes or no,
That's so
what
close to
you
blocking
observe.
another part.
Kylie, you wanna talk with me? Let's hear it, come on.
At least don't bring the boomstick here, right? We're just trying to have a discussion.
Well, the climax doesn't want to go until the end of it where it goes to boom. And then after that, it's the following action, so if that helps keep it in boundaries.
So Kelsey, to answer your question, yes, for the most
for the
part.
most part, I just got all that from them.
Okay.
Okay, so, does it clearly depict characters?
Yes.
Brianna,
No.
why not?
Because all they're saying is, oh, look, I'm a boat too.
Yes.
I'm short.
But how more clear can you be?
I'm a boat too. I'm a boat.
Complication. Yes, Kelsey.
I think they are being
Depicted.
depicted because you can't just be like, I'm a boat and Fred. So technically,
What about you, Tyler?
It doesn't even tell like Leo or any of their names, so I don't know.
well, it's once
Right,
again,
They don't look like boats unless
T means to be clear.
What is it?
To show characters. Do we know who the characters clearly are? Like, let me go ahead and take a moment here. In one episode, they saw somebody and they're like, who is that earlier today? Like, who is that guy? It's like, well, look, what's he holding? There was a bargain episode and he was holding a glass. Who walks around with a glass? Who drinks out of the glass and dies? Oh. So here's the thing is, most of the time in a story, you're going to be, throughout the entire story, you're going to have a prop that shows who they are. Now, those boats only show up in that episode, right? So how do we know that they're a boat? They actually did have a boat in front of them, AJ. I'm a boat. I'm a boat too. Why do they have two boats? Because there's two boats in the climax. And what happens to that boat? The rats start jumping in. The rats are jumping onto the boat that she's holding, right? And then the big giant super Nero rat comes in and and boom, they blow it up. So I would have to say it was weird, but it's probably going to go under the humorous category we talked about in a little bit.
So it does depict it clearly.
I would say it does. All right? But Brianna's right. It was weird, but it does depict them clearly. All right? Okay, keep rolling.
Okay.
Does it make the scene somewhat humorous?
New faces, please.
Look, someone in that back.
Yes. Why?
Well, it's like they're just like kind of hard to explain. Like, what made you laugh? What made it humorous?
Like when the rats jumped on the boat, like what they did.
Yeah, so because they went and attacked people, it made it funny. What's somebody from the back table over there? Genesis?
Like that.
Pedro?
You can go.
When they blew up,
Well, yeah.
I'm an in-person.
Ben. Ben.
Short sound, but thank you.
See, so it makes it funny mostly because they did fall apart. It did kind of make it funny. Tyler?
We'll have to ask Mr. Peterman something.
Oh.
What, okay, what, do we have like any, for making this video, do we have any like restrictions that we can't?
Well, that's what I mentioned in the beginning, is we have limitations. We only have a minute to film it, minute and a half. We don't get to edit and splice, it's all in one take. We only have a couple of days. So really, this is also problem solving that we're trying to do. How do I depict this scene with this amount of time, with no breaks, and get everything tied into it? We do weird things like, I'm a boat, right? So we do have restrictions and limitations of what we can do. We don't have a sound stage to make sure we can hear everything perfectly. We don't have a construction set to make this beautiful scene. That's why we use the Promethean board. So yeah, we do have limitations.
It does make it somewhat humorous because of the human, or like they're like humans like trying to be something else. It's like a person like trying to be a cat or something. Like it's just not possible, but like they're trying to do it, so it makes it funny.
Okay, are you answering it or are you asking a question?
No, I'm answering it. Okay.
Okay,
it does
that's a
make
good
it.
answer.
It does make it funny because it's a human trying to be something else.
Let's move to the next one.
So, is the dialogue clear and understood? So basically, when they said stuff, did you understand it? Was it easy and simple and?
Yes. No, it was difficult. I didn't understand the boat part of it.
I'm
Why?
a boat.
Why?
I don't know what the word boat means.
Thank you, Genesis. Thank you. Do you have a question or a comment for your directors?
Well, I was gonna say it is because, like, are we talking about like the
dialogue, like what they said, like, I'm a crow, I'm a rat. Well, yeah, they did it because they kind of said it like directly. They weren't like, they like said it like really loud and clear, so you could hear it.
Very good. All right, let's take a look at one from last year.
We should do Nicolettes.
I want to see where you take the Dobby.
Do episode 2. I'm so sorry. Episode 2. Episode 2.
Episode 3.
No.
Following our directors. Episode 1. Lights, Pedro.
Episode 1, Three Skeletons and Key. Rashes at the island, they're not just one. Twice as big, twice as big, twice as
I will never get through you! That smells so bad! Oh my god!
I'm not sure. I don't think I have to
play it
convince
again,
us.
Zach, you're better than
You want to hear it one more time?
Yeah, because I can't hear it.
Rashes at the island, they're not little ones. Twice as big, twice as mean, twice as cold.
I will never get through you! That smells so bad! Oh my god!
It's like they're speaking gibberish.
Okay, all right. Shh,
That
wait.
helps.
Yo, yo,
Say
yo.
that again.
It sounds like they're speaking gibberish.
Okay, that would be a comment at the bottom here, right? The comment at the bottom.
Wait, are
We're going to go through this on the back. There's a whole other set of same questions. We're going to go through these here and discuss it. Pet lights, Pedro. All right, take us through this again with a new episode, new problems, new strengths, right? New strengths, new problems.
Okay. Yes, question first.
Are we going to go here today?
No.
Are we going to rehearse?
No, we'll rehearse next on Monday.
next on Monday?
I'm not gonna be here Monday.
Thanks, Pedro.
Okay. So, do they communicate the key events of this episode? Hunter. So, was it clear what they did?
No,
Why?
couldn't understand.
So they didn't. They didn't communicate well, AJ.
Well, I figured it out that they were trying to show the rats getting on the lighthouse, but they just threw that name stuff in.
Genesis!
In the first episode, like it has the ship crashing, and all it gets is some stuffed animals like frogs, and that didn't really make any sense.
So they really didn't communicate it very clearly, did they?
Yeah, and they only showed one part. Yeah, but one part that was in the first episode.
So it was a very small, short episode. Alex.
But early on, like what she said, there's like not many ways that you can represent rats crawling up. It's not like you can digitally put them in there. Or put some rats on camera or something.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but who actually did understand what they said? Yeah.
I don't
Like-
want to take too much time, but let me show you how they did it the year before. Hit the lights.
Episode 1, Three Skeleton Key. There was a loud crack. Crack. And the boat split in two. The rats jumped ship and swam through the island. As the Cornelius wave capsized, I saw the lifeboats were all in place. Her crew had not abandoned her. With a cry of terror, a Chew yelled,
Lock the windows!
In minutes, the lighthouse was teeming with rats. But these were no ordinary rats. These were huge sea rats, man-eaters, with a thirst for flesh and blood. They had scented us and were attacking the lighthouse just to have a meal after starving for weeks.
Okay. So we see the difference of those two, right? I want to stay focused on that first one though as we answer these. All right? I think I know what Alex was saying. I wanted to address it with that video, is how else do you depict it? They did the same thing, but they did some things well. Let's focus on what the other team did wrong, though. Or let's say what that first one did, both wrong and right, okay? Go ahead and keep us going with communicating the key events on the episode.
Okay. So after seeing the second one, it was a lot easier to understand, wasn't it?
Yes.
Why?
Because they
So like, okay, Tyler?
They actually had a narrator on the second one, and on the first one, they're just basically screaming, and you can see that the first one did it more for the serious. The second one did it more to be serious, and it seemed like, and the first one seemed kind of like, I want to do this to see which video is the most funny.
Ah.
So the first one really didn't take it seriously.
This one's going on forever.
So, if I can say this, it sounds like you're saying they sacrificed all the others to just try and be funny.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
No.
Okay.
It was funny though.
It was funny though. The first one had a narrator, but they went and then started throwing things. All right. Do you have a question or a comment?
It was a comment.
Comment to your directors. Okay.
Like, the second one, it actually looks like they rehearsed, and the first one looks like they were messing around and they didn't know what to do.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Does it have the correct terms in dialogue? So one or two.
First, the very first one.
AJ.
No, because like in the second one they had like how people were talking about shut the windows inside the lighthouse, and then the first one was just
Okay.
Did they use the correct terms in dialogue?
No.
The first one, did they speak very clearly at all?
No.
I couldn't tell what they were saying. Kelsey said it was gibberish.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with AJ. Like, I say no because it didn't really make sense of what they're doing. Like, after talking about it a while, I kind of got their concept, but like, after like first seeing it, you don't really understand what's happening. It's confusing.
So it needs a couple replays before it like actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think since we read the book, that's what made a lot of sense. If you weren't going to read the book and this was like a movie preview or whatever, and you looked at it, how confused would you be? I'd be pretty confused.
I would think it was for people in German and whoever, like, ever gibberish people.
Chinese or something.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, I understand what they're saying.
So,
Stay focused.
on the first one, with characters very clearly depicted, could you tell who was what?
Yeah.
Alex.
I saw the cat in that.
I did too.
Hey, that's a good one. Let me interject here. Remember what I said about names and the cup, right? Was in bargain with Slade. If you were to watch the exposition of this, you'd learn the characters' names and that Legleo goes crazy, and so he's like the cat in the hat. So that's why they chose the cat in the hat. So you know you saw Legleo. All right? So there does need to be a little bit of context. So, but now that you know that, the character is, you know who it is. Comment or question? Okay, go ahead.
I think that I kind of feel like The characters were pretty well detected.
That's what you say, right? Okay.
Because like with the Cat in the Hat, it like had a reason for it, and like the stuffed animals flying, they were supposed to represent rats and stuff. So like if you kind of think about it, it makes sense because they don't have rats. They don't have a person that can just go crazy and stuff in the middle of the episode.
See,
Because that wouldn't make sense.
I agree with you there. And if you were to watch the one before it, you would understand what happened. But wouldn't it even make it even clearer if they just had their gibberish talking narrator and Legleo went crazy while rats just attacked our lighthouse? Can you be more toot simple?
Yeah.
So it did clearly depict them, didn't it not? It didn't very clearly depict them. You had to have a little bit of thinking in there. They could have done a better job, but they did use their green person, blue person.
The key event person or the prop person? What do you mean? Green was knowing where it started. Orange is key events.
They used their green person, and the green person, they must have talked. Otherwise, you just see the Cat in the Hat on the board. So they did use that, but at the same time, they didn't really depict it in their scene specifically.
What if you were seeing it as like a whole movie? Like if you were adding them all together, then it would.
It'd be clearly depicted if you saw it all together.
Well, we're just looking at it as an individual scene to make sure what goes right and wrong with yours. That's the whole point about the trust in what we're trying to do. We need to trust that your episode 2, episode 3, we have trust that you're going to do your job. What do I need to do for mine? These guys trusted that the episode 1 was going to show that their hat was going to be Legleo. So they didn't have to, it's probably smart, it would have been better to say, oh, Legleo, you're going to get hit by a rat. What? Boom, and his hat gets knocked off, right? It's good to communicate to show who's who, but they did trust. You have to trust each other because we're going to put these all together. But that also means people are trusting you to get it right. And that's what I want you guys to finalize is what do you learn? What do you need to do based on what we did today? I want to hear some comments and some digestion here. What did you learn today about what's going to make this a good group and individual project?
I was answering his question, right?
Yeah, no, you guys are talking about that together.
Oh,
I just threw it out there.
you could clearly speak your parts and say what your character is. And go toot toot and then
Yeah. So no Chinese people in our. Okay, Alex.
Maybe not have the screaming and have the narrator talk while the rats are being thrown on stage.
That was a little. How quiet was your room when they filmed that?
It was pretty intense. Well, think about all the people who had to throw all the rats at him. They were excited to throw rats at Jackson.
Hey, Joe?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Can you?
Yeah.
Tyler.
Well, they should have just spaced it out more. Like, they have a minute, and they have to, instead of doing everything at once, they go, like, maybe have the narrator talk, and then start going down, and then start throwing all the rats, after everything's all clear, and all the points are made, and stuff like that. So they can be funny, and have a good video.
So they wouldn't have to sacrifice anything.
Yeah, but bundles are worth.
Yeah, Hannah.
Like before the video, like even filmed, like you could make sure, like just to like double check that everyone's like on the right track. Like we could have that one person. I think it's the Greens. whatever, how they're supposed to like talk to the group together and make sure that they're doing this, so that they won't have to explain it in their video or whatever. Yeah.
So really what you're saying is the initiating event is going to be where all the explaining is happening. And it could be pretty simple if they just, in the initiating event, it's probably going to be a lot of explaining. And then afterwards in the episode, it's going to be a lot more of just a little brief, little explanation of what you're doing, right?
Yeah, because some, like, you can't explain everything in the initiating event because, like, other things happen and then it could change. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What makes the scene somewhat humorous?
Because they threw stuffed animals out there.
That's what I wrote.
So if somebody just comes in and starts chucking stuffed animals at people, we're all going to laugh.
That'd be hilarious.
Like Glenn Coco from Mean Girls. That'd be hilarious.
Well, here's the thing. Is I think we know why this one's funny. I think we established early on that's the only thing it's got going for it, right? We agreed that there was no real dialogue. We couldn't understand the narrator. I think I want to land the plane now. We're kind of where Tyler was going. Based on these things, and this is almost like an obvious answer. So I'm going to look for somebody here to answer it who hasn't said anything yet today. Maybe a Caitlin, maybe a Zach, maybe a Brett.
Maybe Genesis.
Genesis spoke.
Yeah.
What are the things, what are the things we need to do to have a successful episode? You get to make sure that those people I mentioned communicate something.
So what didn't they do? Well, let's take their mistake first. Imagination, not the book. What didn't they do that we should do to make ours better? Katie.
Didn't speak it very clearly.
So we need more enunciation. Yeah, see? No Chinese people in our videos.
No racist comments either, really.
Well, they talk really fast, don't they?
I don't know. I don't really know if there must be some context to what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. You mean people who's from other countries who try to speak English?
Gibberish, yeah. They like when they try to speak English, it's like lots of gibberish.
No, it's not. You're trying to say like what I think what you're trying to say is when you hear someone speak another language, it sounds like gibberish.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
What you said earlier was a little weird. So we'll move on from that. Are you all right, Elise?
Can you answer the questions that we might actually have to call you?
Okay.
Sure, be like more specific, like on character, just like not throw stuffed animals, not say anything.
So no screaming like little girls and chucking random stuff.
Without, like you said, showing who the characters are. Right? So you said it right to Elise. That as long as we communicate them, then we can scream like little girls.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
But I
trying.
can't just come up to the front of the video camera and go, oh my God, rats are being thrown!
Okay.
And just be assaulted by stuffed animals. That'd be a little weird.
Tyler, I think it's like you get a stuffed animal on the first
Franny, you want to answer the question for me?
When you're the boats go to
No, not all girls go to.
Thank you, Brianna, for being silly.
I'm sorry. Boats go to too.
Some.
Some boats go to too. Your
My
boat
boat
go to too.
I think we should work on being humorous and serious.
So not sacrifice one for the other. So take our full minute instead of the 28 seconds and go, oh my gosh! Stop it over. You're gonna be the one that's being attacked.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Give me your food.
you at them.
Okay, all right. Reel us in, reel us in. Come on, finish up.
Genesis. Making sure like your narrator is loud enough, because even if they speak clearly, you might not be able to hear them. So make sure they speak loud enough.
And actually have a narrator.
Yeah.
Don't fall apart. You gonna help me out? Are you sure? Okay. AJ?
We should make sure we have all the key events and dialogue covered, and then we funny stuff.
So know what you're doing before you scream like a little girl in front of the camera, right?
Okay, before anybody starts screaming, all right? First of all, I think you did a great job. You did a great job. We have, how much time do we have? 20 minutes? Or 3? 36, 225, 7 minutes. Okay, what I want you to do is get into your groups. I want you to get into your groups, and I want you to discuss what are your roles going to be, and what characters do you need to show, and who's going to be your narrator. All right? Make sure everything's set up correctly. Yes?
We left early yesterday.
Make sure you're loud enough.
Yeah, get your info from your partners. Shh. Whoa, 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 whoa. I forgot that a lot of you left yesterday. Why don't you guys take some time now to make sure you've got all your information from your group members. All right, let's do that, and we'll get started on Monday with rehearsing.